What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, here with my brother from another big game, James, and we got another big homie. We got my guy George Carmi, man. We gonna talk some football, man. As a winner, I feel like this is a good part of the season to really look back and just kind of self-analyze and see how you've come so far as an organization. And so such a long. It's a beautiful day for me. But we're gonna have some fun, man. I haven't been able to talk that talk with James in a while or Carmi, so I'm excited for what's going on, y'all. What's going on? I know y'all not undefeated. Y'all must be having some good days. How y'all been, man?
Hey man, first of all, we having great days. We're 6-2. We got our quarterback back. We just turned all the way up. You know what I'm saying? We about to go into Green Bay and stomp them boys. So go ahead, be 8-0. Because all I'm gonna say right now, be 9-0, be 10-0, 11-0. Because more you win, the more pressure it is. So don't lose when it matters. Because don't nobody care about undefeated. Go ask them Patriots.
Things are going over here in Washington. we're trying to get our shit together, trying to get everything together over here. 4-5, playing the Philadelphia Eagles team on Monday. Our biggest thing is trying to blemish your record, man. We're trying to knock you off that pedestal a little bit, trying to knock you down a little bit. So hopefully that's our goal. Hopefully we put things together a little bit in DC, and we'll talk. Hopefully get a new owner by the end of the year too. It's kind of my other thing over there.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, so I mean, look, I want to start with you, George, because obviously you are the guest. Obviously, we do play Monday night and everything. Mm-hmm. I just want to talk to you about, because I have talking to a lot of people about this Washington team, and I know you've probably seen me on Twitter getting roasted as of late because I said this, and I do believe this. I think that this is a better Washington Commanders team than we played in week 3. I think that your defense is playing better. I think by addition by subtraction sometimes when you look at your quarterback situation. So I feel like you're better. I want to know from you, because I know you like to stay optimistic about your team as well too. So how do you feel about this Washington team? What's the confidence right now level as far as this Washington team goes?
So in terms of Washington, I think we are kind of coming together a little bit. We're a feisty team. We should have beat the Vikings last week. I don't think you guys actually caught that game, but it was a pretty bad turnover by Taylor Heineke through a really bad interception in the fourth quarter. We were up by 10 against this 6-1 team going into that game. So I do think Washington's going to give you guys a pretty good fight on Monday. I think it's not going to be as a pushover as we thought. Carson Wentz, he said addition by subtraction. I think he has the physical tools to kind of elevate us in regard to exploding offense, but at the same time, he has a lower floor than Taylor Heineke. Heineke knows the offense better than Wentz does. He's more efficient. He can scramble behind our weaker offensive line. So I do think he'll keep it together. But at the same time, I just think that he is kind of limited in what he can do. Washington tries to keep away, try to protect the ball and run against any opponent that we have. So if the Eagles get up pretty early, then that's going to be kind of a bad formula for Washington. But you never know, man. I think, it's been a rough week. The one positive I can kind of look at is the team has so much noise outside of the field. It's all, off the field issues. They're all in the locker room just freaking, dial in. Don't even worry about that. Focus on things. So hopefully that comes together by Monday.
Yeah. And James, I want to know, I guess we got to talk about the Cowboys every now and then, right? But you guys are 6-2. You guys do have Dak Prescott back, obviously having, way better offensive numbers than previous games with, the guy that everybody thought was. It was like Troy Aikman. Y'all thought he was. It was crazy.
Not have great numbers, but we was winning. That's all I'm going to say.
Y'all were winning.
Okay,
yeah, but how do you feel? How do you feel now that Dak is back? Obviously, it is a different offense. How confident is it? The fan base out there in Dallas right now.
I mean, I don't know about the confidence. I don't feel ever waver. Dallas already knew we had talent. Yeah, that's never been the worry. It's just putting it together. This is another year, 6-2. Cooper Rush held it down. A lot of us didn't think he was going to do that. Come in and holding it down, being a limited quarterback as he was. Our defense really stepped to the forefront and really carried us like we thought we were. So we're feeling good. Dak comes back, has a good warm-up game, with the Detroit Lions, then comes back and they turn all the way up against them Chicago Bears. You know what I'm saying? And the Chicago Bears, they're feisty. They're going to give you a fight. And you saw what Justin Fields did in the last game. He went crazy. So the fact that we kind of limit him with our defense, played really well coming off the bye. We're getting healthier. We saw the emergence of a Tony Pollard. We've all been screaming over here in Dallas. We want to see more Tony Pollard. And if you've seen the more carries he's starting to get, he's starting to turn up and give that explosiveness. We don't know if Ezekiel Elliott's going to play this week. I personally like to see him rest one more game to get that knee right because I want to see Tony Pollard get real explosive against them Green Bay Packers. So from our perspective, we're feeling good. Our defense, we just added an addition to Jonathan Hankins for basically nothing. We got rid of a Tristan Hill. It was more so that you probably weren't going to resign a guy like that, and you needed to beef up the middle because we all been screaming, me especially, and I've been telling you this, George, and you, Joe, our run defense is still kind of suspect to me, especially in that middle. Teams haven't really stayed against the run to really dent our run defense, but when teams have really kind of wanted to do it, they've gotten explosive runs. So to add a Jonathan Hankins, he played well already. He's going to get minutes now. Now we got more in the middle, and possibly who knows? Odell Beckham Jr. could be on the horizon. If that happens, I feel real good about the outlook of the Dallas Cowboys, especially on the offensive side.
Yeah, OBJ to Dallas. If OBJ goes to Dallas, that would be kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. It would be interesting.
It's gonna be fun.
It would be. Fun. I don't think it really does much for your team. I think your team. I don't think your team's all that.
George,
I don't think your team's all that. I don't think it seems all that.
You're the only 8-0 team. Don't nobody think it's all that.
Everybody hating. That's cute. I think it's cool. I mean, at the end of the day, you just brought up the Bills, right? He just brought up the Bills. George just brought up the Bills. That was, in my opinion, them and the Kansas City Chiefs were the barometer. Ain't nobody telling me that we aren't better than the Bills after they lose to the Jets. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We are the best team in the NFL. I truly believe that. By stats, by theory, by application. We're a top 5 defense, a top 5 offense.
So we are. We're not a top 5 offense, but we're definitely a top 5 defense. We can definitely bang with you. The Washington Commanders can bang with you. I'm trying to tell you, Joe. Nobody's disrespecting your 8-0. But if you ask everybody in NFL, there's a lot of people like they're 8-0, but they ain't no invincible 8-0. They ain't no team you can't go in there and feel like, oh, we can't beat the Philadelphia Eagles. That's why George keeps shaking his head because he feels the same way. He feels the same way. You're a good team. Not taking anything away from the Eagles, I promise you. But 8-0, nobody is scared of y'all. Like, oh, we got.
You don't have to be scared.
Okay, just letting you know.
That's the whole thing, though. Y'all don't have to be scared. My thing is, I don't understand how someone can take a bunch of bullets, none of them penetrate, and we're sitting here talking about is he bulletproof? We have literally not let one bullet penetrate yet. We're bulletproof right now. There's no way of saying we aren't the best when we have proven it week in and week out. You're sitting here telling me that, guys, but hold on. You can't say that at the same time when you just said that. What you just said that the Washington can bang with us. You said that Dallas can bang with us. But guess what? We outbanged y'all. We whooped y'all tails. We put the most. But you were winning, right? You just said earlier you were winning, though. So at the end of the day, we stopped that winning. I
also told you that Cooper Rush, and everybody was surprised, especially me, because I told you Cooper Rush was nothing. I told you he's not a starting quarterback in NFL. So I told you specifically what we were having winning with Cooper Rush. And I even told you, I didn't think we were going to beat y'all with Cooper Rush. And he threw 3 picks and we still came back in that game. Y'all had some good drives, but y'all did not dominate the Dallas Cowboys after that second half. No, you did not in that game. We held it down. We came back and had the
scoreboard. That's all that matters. Right, we won that game. Opportunities don't do nothing.
Come on now, dude.
Opportunities don't do nothing. Opportunities don't do nothing.
Talk to him, George.
Opportunities don't do nothing.
Let George talk to him, George.
We love to talk. We love to talk about strength of schedule. We love to talk. All right, I'm gonna let you read this real quick. You got a $10 super chat trying to talk junk to me. That's what it looks like. But hey, do your thing, big homie. Do your thing, big homie.
Yeah. Rev, $10. Holla, Big Joe. That loss is coming. Whether it's in the division later on in the season or in the Super Bowl, because the 1972 Dolphins are more undefeated than a woman in the wall at 35 with no options. You heard that? And like I said, Joe, I want to let George say it because I've been saying it enough to you. George is in agreement with me, and George, the homie, don't be lying. You know George be telling the truth. So just tell him, George. Just sit back and listen, Joe, right quick, and tell him, George, what it really is.
Now, for real, Joe, I think it's kind of a facade right now. We'll see how it all holds down. I think the Cowboys are a pretty well-rounded team. I give the Cowboys props, and your defense is legit for real, and that is going to be interesting when you all play each other. I mean, I'm looking at the schedule right now. You play the Texans, trash. Steelers, trash. Cardinals, trash. Jaguars, trash. Lions, trash. I mean, those are your wins so far this year. So, I mean, the one thing I do got to give you all credit for, because I'm a fair person, right? I think your interior lines are pretty solid, right? Your defensive line, you got to work on your run defense a little bit, but your offensive line is really good. And I just think that your team is pretty well balanced. But we'll see how. I don't see you guys competing with the Bills when it's all said and done. We'll see how.
That's crazy. But see, that's the thing. That's my thing, though. I love that you guys are saying this because guess what? Guess what teams you are not? The Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs. So at the end of the day, yes, when you talk about trash records, don't forget that we played the Cowboys in Washington. Let's add them to the heap of trash that we played. All I'm saying is that we have to keep the same energy. We got to keep the same energy. We can't say that, all the teams that you played were trash, so we're going to be better at talking about the Cowboys more so, and then at the same breath say that, we could bang with you. No, you can't. We beat you. We beat you already. We've beaten you already. You ain't bang with us. You ain't bang with us. If at the end of the day, close doesn't matter. Close doesn't matter. Nothing but cornhole and horseshoes. Close does not matter. Close is not close enough. I'm just saying.
You can tell Philly ain't used to these kind of streaks and stuff like that. He over there doing backflips and cartwheels.
We about to go 9-0. When's the last time y'all went 8-0?
I mean, I don't care about going 8-0 because we done had plenty win streaks. I can start back to 2014. Okay, when we started,
and I could talk to you about your win. I could talk to you about your opponents that year. You want to talk about your opponents that year? Your opponent win percentage that year? It was way less than ours.
And that's the difference between me and you. I can sit there and say, yes, strength of schedule is not good. Like if we were 8-0 right now and we were playing the teams you played, I would sit there and say, and we ain't really played nobody. So I want to see us when we play somebody so I can really get us a gauge. Now, you played us with Cooper Rush. I keep gonna go back to that because Dak has a 7-3 record against the Philadelphia Eagles, and y'all ain't beat Dak in 3 games. So yes, I definitely think it's different because Dak is more explosive than a Cooper Rush, and we still bang with y'all. So if we still bang with y'all in Philly, I definitely feel like when you come to Dallas and we got full strength and Dak Prescott's the quarterback, and if OBJ is there, okay, go ahead and talk all you want to, but that's just a lot of fear in your hearts. Okay,
that man's walking. That man's all he's going to do is make sure that your medical team is staying paid because that man's going to be in the medical tent more than anything.
OBJ is one of the Cowboys. He gonna kill Darius.
That ain't gonna happen, George. That ain't gonna happen.
I don't think so. We'll see.
Do you think it's? Do you think that that's a real possibility, James? You think that's a real possibility, OBJ? All jokes aside.
Yeah, all jokes aside, and the main reason why I've been talking like this, you know how I feel about our front office. You know I call him baby nuts for a reason. I told you he doesn't like going out there and jumping out there and doing those type of things. He likes to be cheap. He likes to stay young. He likes to stay through the draft, and that's our players. You see the majority of our players. We just promoted a young rookie named Damone Clark out there who's going to be a nice linebacker. You'll see from LSU. We have been talking about when we talked about our draft, remember? And he already came and turned up. But the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of Cowboys players in the streets talking about this. You got a lot of prominent Dallas Cowboy players saying, hey, we want to get this dude. We want to get this dude. And I feel like the front office, when they start hearing the claps of the top people really pushing, then they'll say, you know what? We might do this. You know what I'm saying? And Odell Beckham is a player. I mean, is this really going to help the team? The locker room will love him. The fans are going to love him. He just has a different type of energy. And plus, I feel like he's grown up. Look what he did when he came over. People were hating on him in Cleveland, right? They get rid of him. He comes over to the Rams. Oh, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem. Yeah, he was a problem for defenses because what did he do? He elevated the Rams, made them a whole different damn team, and they end up winning the Super Bowl. And you can't tell me he was
real talk though. He had 5. I think he had 5 touchdowns over those last 6 games. Or something like
he
that.
Went crazy.
Well. I mean, Beckham's a good piece. Just kind of curious to see how he actually comes back and assimilates. Right? Is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be fit in the system? But where does he fit in Dallas though? Like, what's up with Michael Gallup right now? What's up with your slot wide receiver? Like, what's going on? Like, where would he fit for you guys?
It's okay, George, because let me tell you this. When you go to CeeDee Lamb, who they said who's our number one, he's got 58% of his snaps in the slot, 38% out wide. So that can tell you right there, you can easily slide CeeDee Lamb because that's where he's most effective anyway. Easily slide him in. You put out Odell Beckham on the outside. You keep Michael Gallup the way it is. You don't have to change from that. You don't have to deviate from that. Plus, we got the 2 tight end, 3 tight end system. You got Dalton Schultz. You got them 2 young rookies who are going crazy, especially Hendershot. So you feel good about that. If it's a coordinator, you want weapons. How would you not want to add another weapon? And I'm going to say this again, Joe and George, injuries. CeeDee Lamb is not super healthy. Noah Brown, I'm not jumping up and down about him. He's had a good career year, but he's still Noah Brown. Right. He's got an injury. Michael Gallup is still coming back from his ACL. So if you had a terrible injury, let's say CeeDee Lamb gets hurt, where does our offense go from there? You get what I'm saying? Then it has to bottle up, go to a 2 tight end, 3 tight end set. Your defenses kind of can guard that a little bit better than where you have some explosiveness on the outside. So you need depth, and you need a quality depth. And I don't care what anybody says. OBJ is a different player. We've seen athletes, y'all. Y'all know this. We play sports. We coach. We done. You've seen players. Odell Beckham is a different athlete. I've seen players who get hurt, and I'm like, yep, he's just probably going to be injury prone. I don't have that feeling about Odell Beckham because he's a different type of athlete. He's going to be able to come in. They'll assimilate him if it does happen. And I feel like you saw when Amari Cooper came with us in 2015, right? We were 3-5. We just lost to the Titans. They made the big trade. Dak and Coop went off immediately.
So James, let me ask you a question. Give me Go ahead. So going back, so right now, what are your thoughts on CeeDee Lamb altogether? Like, you know, he's supposed to be the wide receiver 1, the top 5, top 10 in the league. It's kind of the talk all offseason. So CeeDee Lamb. And then how do you feel about Amari Cooper doing pretty well in Cleveland? How do you feel about that?
Well,
he's doing good, James. He's doing good. Amari Cooper's doing really good, James. Remember, y'all gave him up for like nothing, too. But I'm sorry.
Okay, but what I was going to say, because last week, I basically compared last week, since he's doing so damn good over there in Cleveland. I compared their numbers last week before this last game. CeeDee Lamb had like 42 catches for 556 yards. Amari Cooper had 39 catches for like 550 yards. I think Amari Cooper had 5 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb had 3. Amari Cooper had 1 more yard, average yard per catch than him. And Amari Cooper had more drops. He had 6 drops to CeeDee Lamb's 4. So he might be having a great year over there, like you just said, but they're almost damn near identical. And when people are like, oh, he had Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett was a starting NFL quarterback, and he's played and he's been a starter. Now, has Cooper Rush? We were playing with Cooper Rush. CeeDee Lamb was playing with Cooper Rush. I'll say that once again, 5 games. So, and he still had those numbers. So I won't sit there and jump out and say, oh, he's the nastiest number 1 out there. I'm not saying that, but don't sit there and act like it did hurt losing Cooper. But CeeDee Lamb is still legit. Do I think he's a number 1 dog? I don't know about that. I can't say that. But I think he's a good receiver. And if you give somebody like Odell Beckham, it makes him better. Just like when you had Amari Cooper, it made CeeDee Lamb better. And that's why I would really want that addition, because I feel like it highlights CeeDee Lamb. And then CeeDee Lamb can really work that slot, because you have to respect Odell Beckham Jr. no matter what anybody tells me.
Yeah, I will say this about that, and then I want to get into some of these super chats real quick. I will say this much: this is probably me hating. It is what it is. That's what I'm doing a lot lately. I'm gonna be honest with that. But realistically, I feel like if the Cowboys turn back to an offensive-led team, they do not scare me at all. I think that this defense, the way that it was constructed and the way that they were getting turnovers, and that defense was really what you had to worry about. That's what more so worried me about the Dallas Cowboys, more so than having to, worry about Dak going off for 4 touchdowns and this and that. I feel like we're prepared for that. I don't know if we're prepared offensively to go against one of the best defenses. And it feels like you're deviating from that a little bit. I could just be hating, but that's kind of my opinion on that. I do want to get to a couple of these super chats before I get too far off. But shout out to Kevo. He said we left Parsons unblocked all game. He ain't do
no, you didn't. No, you
he ain't do nothing. He ain't do nothing. He was one-on-one with Lane a lot. And Lane, Lane put him to sleep. It was a bunch of zeros in his columns. I'm just saying. Until Lane went out, he didn't do anything. He had 3 hurries, I think, after Lane went out.
He had help. Titans were still
he did.
He had guards still hitting him. And when there was 2 plays where Lane wasn't destroying him, he got to the back of the quarterback, but Jalen Hurts got rid of the ball. Somebody can sit there and say that, but I watched the tape. I'm not saying people out there, but I watched the tape every week diligently, and I definitely watched the tape in that Philly game, and I have no problem saying that Lane Johnson did do a good job against Michael Parsons. He did. But to sit there and say he handled Michael Parsons and Michael Parsons did nothing, that's not the truth. Michael Parsons was skilled in that backfield. Jalen Hurts was getting the ball before that.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But hey, box score looks like it looks. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that ain't the first time he's been double teamed. You know what I mean? Shout out to Dank Burrito with the $5 super chat. Hey, like that was let's not start that. Let's not start that. I'm gonna reach out to like a NFL referee one day, and we're just gonna do an interview with a referee and just be like, "Why are you guys so terrible to us? What did we do? What did we do to you guys?" But no, shout out to Deck Burrito. He said NFC East plays NFC South and AFC North. Other than 3 games, we play the same teams. Do people not know how schedules work? I mean, it is true. You guys got the not exact, but you guys have basically the same schedule. So, I just don't like the schedule argument. At the end of the day, you play who's in front of you. I looked up the 2007 New England Patriots strength of schedule because I was getting so upset and I was sick over the past couple of weeks. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to come back with a bang. So, but no, you look at them and theirs was a little bit harder than us. I think ours is 505 and theirs was like 535 or something like that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You play who's in front of you in the NFL, especially when you're winning, you're going to get the best of every NFL team. So, look, it does obviously matter that you're not going out there playing the best team every week, but it is what it is. And Toot Robinson, shout out to Toot Robinson. He said this about 4,000 times that the Eagles are number 1 in missed tackles. Okay, that's true. It is true. We are bad at tackling right now.
And then Joe and James, to your point, man, it's all about situational football, right? It's all about just kind of winning when it comes to rubber hitting the road. And I got to give it to both the all teams. That's where Washington's kind of fallen off this year. Like in the fourth quarter, when they could put the game away, they haven't done so. The Eagles have done that 8 times, so hat tip to them. 8-0, I'd be boosted if we were 8-0 too. I'm not gonna lie. And then with James, the fact that you guys have Cooper Rush and you guys are staying afloat and still winning, that's a testament to Kellen Moore and your offense, man. They actually were pretty smart in how they navigated that. So in Washington, we're just kind of worried that I like our coaches. We talked about it before, both of you guys. I like both of our coaches for like kind of setting the tone with culture, but in regard to like being innovative and being creative and being dynamic with offensive play calling, that's a concern for me for sure. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be. Say this right now. My bad, Joe. I was just
no, you good. Go ahead.
Now, they called it the NFC East like a year and a half ago, dogging our division, talking trash about our division. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So as a whole, I'm happy about our division. I'm proud about our division because I get tired of people always trying to dog our division when our division consistently is one of the strongest divisions.
We have the glamour division for real. We got the Cowboys, Washington D.C., Philadelphia, New York.
We got main squads. We got the main metropolitan areas in our division, and when we bring it. And just like this before, you don't just really have one team. When NFC East starts cooking, it's usually all the teams start cooking, and then when all the teams are cooking, every team that plays against our division, it's a dogfight for them. They getting beat up. They remember the NFC East has always been a brutal league. It's always been rough. It's always been tough.
Don't we have the most amount of Super Bowls in our division too? It's like 5-4-3.
Yeah, I mean, you feel me? Like, come on, man. Let's keep it all the way funky. You know what I'm saying? So, people need to respect that. And we always, one thing I like about our division, it can be bad like one year, and then within like the next year and a half, it flips just like that real quickly, and I think it's done again. So I'm excited about that because every game you play against the NFC East team, it's going to be a dogfight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we talk about the NFC East, and obviously we're not the only 3 teams. And depending on how you look at it, depending on how you want to, shake it up, the New York Giants are right there. They're 6-2. They are. And it's surprising football. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say this on here. The way that they're winning is a little bit more worrisome than how the Eagles or maybe even the Cowboys are winning, because you look at the Giants and it's like, what are you prepared for? Like, obviously outside of their run game, they've been winning in like really weird, like, just off. It's a different team almost every week, almost every quarter. It feels like it's a different team. So it's like, I look at the Giants and people are saying fluky, and you can call it that, but when you're winning, and it's, how do you guys look at the Giants, excuse me, and do you realistically think that there's a chance they can make some noise? There's been years that we've looked at that team and been like, they're absolutely terrible, and then somehow they win a Super Bowl. So it's like, are we a little bit worried about this little Giants team? Is this something that the rest of the NFC East should kind of keep their eyes open for?
Not this year, in my opinion. I think the Giants
I
are kind of
agree.
fluky this year. I think they're kind of ahead of schedule, which is kind of scary long term. I
Yeah.
think, right? I think having Dabble and having Matt Shane as their GM, basically putting them together, you knew the Giants were going to turn it around, but we're just kind of surprising that they did so already this year. I do think the schedule does play into effect. I mean, guys, I'm happy with the NFC East, but all of us 6-2, 6-2, 8-0. I mean, Washington's the only one that's not holding it down and making us have the high win percentage. We should be doing better. We are playing these weaker teams, but I don't think the Giants are basically going to be a contender for the in the actual Super Bowl run, but they are going to make the playoffs. Saquon Barkley had a resurgence. I'm really impressed by him coming back, and the Giants have a really interesting question at the end of the year. What do you do with Daniel Jones? Like, he's not good enough to pay big money, but at the same time, you don't let him walk for nothing either. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays out because he got his legs, man, and hopefully maybe in a couple of years he starts getting his arm with this new coaching staff. So we'll see. I don't know. James, what do you think, bro?
Hey man, I'm gonna kind of just echo your sentiments with that. I've been saying it's been fluky all year. Joe knows that. I said, man, I want to believe it, but I just don't. But I think one of the things that we had talked about was Dabo. He's got them because they don't have anything to lose. When you're a team and you don't have anything to lose because nobody's thinking you're gonna do anything, you play free, you play wild, you play a little bit those wins that they're getting right now. We're like, man, how did that just happen? That's because you're just playing with reckless abandon. I think more if the Giants were like, oh, let's look at this team if they're as a good team, then I don't know if those wins come in that fashion. You know what I'm saying? When you're more of a hunted. Right now, they're just playing loose. And I think they are a year away, but I do like I like Kayvon Thibodeau. I like their picks. Leonard Williams is playing really well. I like their front. Giants are always kind of known with defense, especially with their front, and I like how they have that together. And like you just said, man, Saquon Barkley has a resurgence. He's playing better. We've been waiting to see that. I've been saying he's just been injured. And then just like you said with the Daniel Jones thing, man, I've been saying, man, this dude is done. Next year, just get rid of him. But then, he gives you a run pass element, dog. Like, dude, he does, and that's a threat.
Vanilla Vic, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and the way they construct that offense around it.
Even Justin Fields, right? Like Justin Fields, I was really kind of following him, kind of going into the draft. He definitely let me down watching him with his progressions and he has Justin Fields is a year or two away from actually like being a passing quarterback, but the fact that they're using him as a running quarterback now is so smart, man. You guys see with Jalen Hurts right now. You guys see with Dak as well. You need a twitched up quarterback in 2022. You need someone that can run and scramble. Like if you can throw it, more power to him. If not, just be able to create at some way, just generate offense, move down the field. So that's what's going on there in New York.
And you bring up like the evolution of the quarterback, and I want to ask a question. Shout out to everybody in the chat. First of all, we got over 90 people be in all the chats. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe wherever you are. I see all your comments. I see y'all roasting me. It is what it is, but I appreciate y'all in the comments. So look, this question is probably going to be taken a little bit differently or looked at a little bit differently by me and George, because me and you were, part of teams that were kind of in this hunt, obviously. And then James, I just kind of want to know your opinion on this. Russell Wilson, is this just a him falling off thing? Is this, what's going on with Russell Wilson, first of all? And second of all, obviously, like from me and George, I guess we would look at it, aren't we happy that we kind of dodged that bullet? So, James, I want to start with you. And just from your point of view, from your perspective, what do you really think is going on with Russell Wilson, and is it fixable?
We'll just go ahead and say coaching matters, right? Coaching actually does matter, because look at what Seattle's doing with Geno Smith. You feel me? Geno Smith has had a whole damn resurgence. I thought he was done in NFL. I thought Geno Smith was never going to start another NFL game, much less a whole daggone year and play the way he's playing. So coaching does matter. They said that, when Russell Wilson was over there with Pete Carroll, he had a little bit more leniency to throw that ball, or he could run around and be scramble and be wild. But now they're saying, and when you watch him, he's got to sit there and stay in that pocket. He's got to throw that ball. So now maybe you might see a little bit of stuff where you can't just be reckless abandon. You got to sit in there and do things. And coaching matters because you got a different offensive coordinator. That matters to a quarterback as well. So I don't know if he's just falling off, but I think system does matter. And I don't know if he's that. He's getting older too. You know what I mean? He's getting older. I think coaching really makes the difference in this one. I mean, because I'm just looking at, I love Pete Carroll as a coach. I always loved him as a coach. I love his enthusiasm, and it just goes to show how really good of a coach he is. And I don't know about that coaching over there in Denver.
I agree. Let me jump in, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So I feel the same way James does, man. We dodged a bullet. So for those of you that kind of follow the NFC East, we offered 3 first-round picks for Russell Wilson. 3 first-round picks. Could you imagine if we give our next 3 first rounds not having that and basically having Russell Wilson now?
I wish.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure you always. But basically, what happened was, it's surprising to me. Like Russell Wilson, basically, he had a finger injury last year. I don't know if you guys remember. It was like a nerve ending in one of his fingertips, and basically he came back early because Seattle was like sort of in the mix, and he wanted to kind of persevere and push through. So he struggled last year too, even with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. He had some good options last year, and everyone kind of attested his fall off to that. But I do think it is coaching. I think it's coaching, but I also think it's age, man. You know, Father Time, you're going to hit a wall eventually. And coming over to a new team, a new system, not feeling comfortable, not being able to scramble and kind of create on your own, I think it does kind of show that Russell Wilson is mortal. Like he's kind of on the down end of his trajectory. Denver has a real bad situation, man. They gave up Noah Fant, they gave up multiple first-round picks, multiple second-round picks, a huge guaranteed contract. I think they have like 50, I forget, it's like 50, 70, or 90, some sort of massive like guaranteed contract that's on their salary cap hit. They can't do anything about it. So they're stuck with him. And it's wild. Like I know I'm in the Philly conversation right now. We got Carson Wentz, but damn, that might have been a miss right now. But dude, that miss was a 3rd-round pick as opposed to 3 first-round picks.
Right.
Wilson. So I'll take that L for sure, man. I'm definitely not taking that big L with Russell Wilson. So it's wild.
Yeah. You know, look, I know there's going to be a lot of Eagles fans that are like, oh, you just didn't have faith in it. At the end of the day, Howie Roseman offered something for Russell. Well, that is not, a secret. It happened. We're lucky and blessed that, Jalen Hurts has taken such a step. But at the same time, that's what could have happened. So I'm happy. I ain't gonna lie. And I was definitely one of those people that were like, hey, maybe Russell Wilson in Philly isn't the worst thing. I was wrong. I will be the first to admit that. And it's not even just the play on the field, because I do agree with what you guys are saying, that coaching is darn near, non-existent out there. But at the same time, what he's doing on the planes and, just the type of person he's been through the losing, he would get eaten alive in Philly, bro. You can't do stuff like that. If you're losing, you got to show that you're losing, on and off the field. Same thing with Washington, same thing with Dallas. So, yeah, I think we dodged a bullet in a number of ways, money-wise, draft picks, all that. So, hey, and it might change how the trajectory of that goes, right? Like maybe big name quarterbacks don't have the, financial or the how do I say this? Maybe they're not as interesting as they were before, like taking on those big contracts, taking on those vets. Yeah. Now we're seeing guys being able to just kind of mentor young quarterbacks and get the best out of quarterbacks. So maybe that's where we head now. But Quizzy brings up, I'm saying, go ahead.
So real quick, sorry to interrupt you. To that point, all the veteran quarterbacks kind of fell off this year, right? It was like Aaron Rodgers took a step back. He was supposed to be a free agent. He took a step back with all that. We saw, Matt Ryan is being benched.
Aaron Rodgers
is injured right now. Baker Mayfield, all these guys that were like the big, Mitch Trubisky. A lot of them weren't really high end guys, but like just the fact that like they were highly covered, they got paid, they went to new teams, and a lot of them aren't even playing right now. They're all benched. So I agree. I think the rookie move is the way to go, and you save a lot of money that way too. You can truly build a good team with a rookie quarterback. That's the way to trend.
Yeah, and you see all these young coaches out there. And speaking of coaching, I want to get I know this has nothing to do with the NFC East, but I just want to go over a couple NFL things just because I think that they're funny at least. We saw Frank Reich, a former Super Bowl winning, offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, out there getting fired by the Indianapolis Colts and replaced by Jeff Saturday. I want to know what type of like reaction would there be if in, Dallas, let's say you have a bad year and your head coach gets fired and they replace him by a guy that's never coached before. Like, I know he's an advisor and everything for them, but I just feel like this is weird. Like, what do y'all expect from that situation? Is there any expectation from that situation realistically? Like, because I'm at a loss for words. I feel like it's just like, I don't even know what they're trying to do. Like, I just don't get it. Am I in the minority there thinking like that? How do y'all feel about this whole situation?
Me personally, it pisses me off. It pisses me off really a lot. That would just be like the Dallas Cowboys getting rid of Mike McCarthy and you hiring Michael Irvin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And why would you do that? Like he's put in no work, he's done nothing, and it's a slap to the face to a lot of the coaches that have been coaching for so long, desiring a job like this, and maybe getting an opportunity to be able to show what they can do. And you bring in a guy like nobody's hating on Jay Saturday, nobody's hating on him as a person or anything like that. It's hating on the process. The process is being hated on because that should not be able to happen. Just like I'm gonna tell you what on basketball tip with Steve Nash. Jock Vaughn is now the coach, but he's put in work. Jock Vaughn has put in plenty work as assistants with other teams, and he's been a couple stints being the assistant and interim with the Nets. And then out of nowhere, you hire Steve Nash, who has no kind of experience on nothing, just because he was a great player and just because he was great, you think he's just going to come in, and that's why he got fell on his face, egg on his face, and that's why he's not there any longer. And me personally, George and Joe, it's a slap in the face to other coaches that have put in a lot of work, and there's no excuse for that, in my opinion. And it should never be happening like that. That should never happen. That should never happen to me.
I mean, it's clear that Irsay was on that brown liquor that night, right?
Them pills. Them pills.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Irsay's out of his mind. Irsay's out of his mind. Like, as a Washington fan, I kind of have a little bit of love for Irsay right now because he basically is trying to get Dan Snyder out of the NFL as our ownership. So I do like that aspect from him from like a funny level. But on the serious level, there is a lot of things that are not cool about this at all, right? So clearly, Jeff Saturday, I don't have high expectations for him. I think it does kind of mock the process because people are putting in work. They're putting there was, being a brown person myself, you kind of want that whole minority perspective in those interviews in regard to having a fair shot at being at a coach. This is kind of like a plucked this is a guy that I put him in there. Jim Irsay is kind of a rare breed. He kind of has that I don't want to be political or anything, that Donald Trump mentality where it's like during the swamp, I want to do some kind of different kind of thing. That's having what he wants to do. He's like, you know what? Like, I'm smarter than you all. I want to break the system and I want to do a different direction. That's what he's trying to do with this right here. Like, I don't know if you guys caught the interview, but he's like, the coach, it's a run-of-the-mill coaching town. I want to basically switch it up and do something that I think is important. But I think it's going to fall on his face. I think his passion is kind of preceding him. I think his arrogance is kind of preceding him. And I think that it is smart to kind of, invest. And you do kind of the people that put in the work deserve the time. So it's kind of where I'm at with him.
Yeah, I think it was just weird all around. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, wait, what? When they fired Frank, I understood it to a certain extent. Obviously, they're not playing well and everything, but I don't know. I was still a little bit against that. But then you add that you go out there and get Jeff Saturday, who's had, like we're all saying, no coaching experience, no real time put in to the craft. Great player, and at a position that you can understand that he has to get a lot of what's going on in the offense, right? But it's going to be interesting to see how he does. Hey, and to your point, Steve Nash was absolutely horrible. It was like one of the best days of my life when I saw him get fired, man, because I am a Brooklyn Nets fan, and he was terrible, bro. He was terrible. But yeah, this is going to be interesting, and I don't think that it really is going to change anything in the NFL, but it might change the Colts, because after doing something like that, your fans aren't going to be that happy for that long, especially if you start losing even more. You know what I mean?
The Colts get so much love too. For some reason, they're like the NFL darling, and everyone thinks they're brilliant and ahead of the game, but they haven't really done anything. They lucked out. They had Peyton Manning for years. They lucked into Andrew Luck. Phillip Rivers held it down for a couple of years. The Colts, I guess I got Darius Leonard and a couple other draft picks here or there, but I don't see why the Colts are bulletproof in regard to protection around the NFL. They get just positive news constantly, but maybe this is going to start turning now with Jeff Saturday. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch the Indianapolis. If they start winning, that's probably gonna be the story of the year. It's gonna be crazy. So obviously, look, we both have games this week, right? The Eagles playing Washington, obviously, and then the Cowboys playing Green Bay. I want to start with you, James, and I want to start with the Cowboys. What would a win mean for the Cowboys this week? Obviously, and how. I feel like a lot of our wins and our scenarios kind of depend on the game inside of the game. Like the outcome, obviously, we want it to be a win, right? But
me, just for me, huge. Okay, huge. Wait, man, I think we saw it in the chat. I think Aaron Rodgers has a 7-2 record against the Dallas Cowboys. He has basically owned the Dallas Cowboys since he's been the starting quarterback. And I'm tired of Aaron Rodgers. I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired of the Packers. That if my top 5 teams that I can't stand, no hate on you guys because I love y'all, but I hate Washington, I hate Green Bay, I hate San Francisco, I hate Philly, and I hate Pittsburgh. Those are my top 5 teams that I hate. And Green Bay is a team that we just are by. And it would mean a lot to Mike McCarthy. Obviously, he was the old head coach. And I just feel like no matter what other teams have done, Washington Commanders have beat them. I don't care. I don't care if they were on a 10-game losing streak. This is a game where Dallas needs to come in and show what we're really about. You need to beat this team and smack them. This needs to be a dominant defensive performance. It needs to be one of them 7-sack games. It needs to be Micah Parsons going crazy. It needs to be Tony Pollard turning up, getting 150 yards. We need to show if we're really a real deal team. To me, we need to go in there and kick these boys, excuse my language, ass.
And James, for real, I went to the Commanders Packers game and I saw the Packers live. If I was a betting man, I put like $50, $100 on the Cowboys, man, for real. The Packers did not look good. Aaron Rodgers is afraid to take shots downfield. He basically was just throwing screen passes all game long because he couldn't trust his offensive line. And you could just tell by, how Aaron Rodgers is very like effusive with his personality. You could just tell he was disengaged and unhappy with the whole team. The Packers are not firing on all cylinders right now. I'll be surprised if you guys lost the game. So, I think you guys definitely have the opportunity, especially with your pass rush. I think you're just going to frustrate the hell out of them. Their offensive line isn't going to protect them very well at all. So I think you guys are favored for sure. Are you guys technically favored like in Vegas too, or what? What's going on there?
I don't know if we're favored, but this is what I'm also say. I don't feel like Green Bay. This is what I want Dallas to understand. Don't come in there and play around with these dudes. Because we'll come against a team that might be struggling. And then all of a sudden they're saying, we're playing Dallas. And I don't care what anybody says. They're definitely talking in that Green Bay locker room. We're playing Dallas. This could be our game to get back on track. If we play this game, this could be the game to get back on track. Don't let that happen. Don't let them get any kind of confidence. A lot of teams have Lions just beat up on them. They didn't score a damn touchdown. You feel me? So there ain't no excuse and no reason. And I'm not looking at this game like, oh, this is our stepping stone to the Super Bowl. No, I'm not. It's just a point of Green Bay, Dallas, stomp them in Green Bay, beat them. They've owned you. This is the time to get them when they're down. So smack them when they're down and don't play around. Don't let this be it's in the fourth quarter and it's 21-20. Green Bay is playing out of his mind this game. This can't be that game.
Yeah. Rodgers can score any given point too, man, for real. He can. When I was watching we were watching live, he just had within a play or two could just throw the ball downfield instantly. So it's definitely you gotta put him away early if you want to win.
Yeah, we've seen it happen within our division. Washington did it. I remember Robert Griffin, I think it was his rookie year where he won like 10 straight, at the end of the year to get them guys in the playoffs. At any moment, offense can become deadly, and you don't want to be the team that they figure it out against. So I definitely agree with you. And as far as the Eagles go against Washington, I feel it's the same sentiment. I think, look, George, you my guy, man, but we need to go out there and dominate. We need to go out there and be the better team on all cylinders. There's the Eagles. Does this game mean anything for the Eagles in the grand scheme of it? Probably not. It means another division win, which is always big. But in the grand scheme of things, probably not the biggest of deals. But you can't make it a big deal, right? You can't let it become a big deal and have to say, remember that game against Washington where we just let it slip? That cost us, number one position, home field advantage, whatever it may be. You definitely don't want to be saying that at the end of the year. So I think we need to go out there. We need to dominate. We need to continue to show who people think we are and prove them correct. So, that's where I'm at. And I want to know, George, I got about 10 minutes left, but I want to ask you, I want to know, what would it mean for the Commanders to not only win, but what would they need to do in that win to really make you feel confident and say, hey, this team might be turning it around?
So the one thing about this whole game that's kind of exciting for Washington fans is that we did this last year, or we did maybe 2 years ago. We played the 11-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. We beat them, and we broke the Steelers after that. I don't know if you remember that at all. The Steelers were actually dominating. They're doing very well. We had, I think it might have been like 2021. It was that Tuesday night, like COVID game or whatever. We beat them, and then we exposed Steelers for what they were, and they lost like 4 or 5 in a row after that. This would be our Super Bowl to knock you guys off, to be the team that blemishes you 8-1. We'd be in the news cycle all week long. That's exactly what we want to do. And you guys know this now. Being 8-0, you basically have that target on your back. Everybody wants to beat you right now. So I think Washington wants to take on that challenge. It's going to be interesting to basically see how we do against you guys. I think our defense is actually pretty damn strong. I think if we're going to our run defense is fantastic. I don't know if you guys caught it. We shut down Dalvin Cook to 40 yards or something like that. Our run defense, I believe, is second overall in the entire NFL. So the fact that we are playing you guys, and you guys are primarily a run-first team, if you guys are still that this year, if you guys still feel that way, I think we can kind of shut that down. The one thing I am kind of worried about, believe it or not, is more Devontae Smith. I think A.J. Brown, we can kind of slow him down because more of that big, bulky wide receiver, but Washington struggles with those shifty, fast wide receivers. So I am kind of worried about that. So I think with Washington, it's all about keeping the game close to playing keep away. Like what Washington really, a dream scenario for Washington would be to run the ball consistently on you guys, keep you guys on the sideline, and then convert when it matters, right? And then timely turnovers. The one good thing I do want to say is we play you guys pretty tough over the past couple of years. Like even the first game you guys got up like 22-0 or something. That was pretty bad. But then the second half we kind of brought back a little bit. But over the past couple of years, regardless of records, we do kind of hang with Philadelphia. Me being the pessimist that I am, this is everything's going your way though. It's like Monday Night Football in your stadium. Washington does not play well during prime time. We got our freaking owners getting sued left and right. It's like it's not a good walk. It's not a good look
coming.
So I'm just saying. So exactly. I see Toot in the chat. We do have to run the ball 30 times. The funny thing is Washington wants to be a run first team, but we struggle with the run. I think it's we have a 25th ranked yard per carry with our run offense. I think our two best weapons are Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson. And it's funny because Washington's really tried to put Antonio Gibson on the shelf and try to put in Brian Robinson. But Antonio Gibson is more dynamic. He's more of a catching out the backfield kind of guy, more of a jet sweep kind of guy, and more getting around the tackles kind of guy. So I think they want to work him. The one thing I do like, though, is we finally get Jahan Dotson back. We haven't had him back since week 4. I think he leads all rookies in touchdowns. He's only played 3 games or something this year, 4 games this year. So It's going to be fun to have him back. And then also Curtis Samuel's been developing too. So I think I want to hear from you, T.J., your perspective and your ways to win the game. But I think in order for Washington to win, run, keep away, and then basically just, play some good defense. Stop the run and kind of make you guys one-dimensional.
Yeah, I mean, we as Philadelphia Eagles, it's you bring up, what is our identity right now if we're still a run first team. I would say that's a strong base of what we do on offense, but I would say our identity right now is our defense. Our defense is being able to take away the ball, give us short fields at most times, and that's really what's helping us on our offensive side. So I would say that we primarily, if our run game is going very well, our offense is probably, running down your throat. We're probably going to kill you. But if our running game isn't doing well, we still have one game. So I wouldn't say that it's our main identity. I think we can win in a lot of different ways. So offensively, I think that we're very balanced. But I think that as a team, you gotta get by our defense. You're gonna have to keep that defense on the field. I will say you can beat them in between the 20s, and then you have to beat them in the red zone, right? And that's where we've been very strong. You can definitely get the ball up and down the field a little bit on this team, but if you make a mistake, that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that, if you have to run 6-7 plays in a row, you're going to make a mistake sometime, and we're going to jump on that, and we have been able to do that. And then complementary, offense to that defense is we're not giving the ball up a lot, and we're taking time off the clock. We're winning the time of possession battle, and obviously, like I said, not giving up the ball. So that's really what it comes down to, is just playing smart football and allowing your defense to jump on the mistakes the other team makes, because we're scoring early. So as long as we keep scoring early, keep getting ahead early, we're going to dictate what the game is. So we're going to make you have to go out there and say, we need a touchdown almost every drive. And if you have to go out there and say that, we already won, because our defense knows exactly what's going to happen. And this isn't the year that we're saying we need our defensive line to get to you, because realistically, I think we only have 26 sacks, if I'm not mistaken, this year, which is really not that much. That's really not that much in the grand scheme of things. So it's been our secondary. So it's a totally different team. So I'm excited. I think that we just got to go out there and dominate you guys. Like, we can't let you guys, like we were talking about Aaron Rodgers. I know it's a little bit different with Heineke, but you can't let Heineke figure it out against you. You know what I'm saying? At some point, something will click for some of these guys, and you don't want to be the team on the other opposite end of it. So, my goal this week is to see the Cowboys lose, see the Giants lose, and watch the Washington just get their tails whooped on Monday night. That would be a perfect weekend.
I think you should be doing every single week.
That's a perfect weekend.
To bring it back there, Joe, real quick. I know we got kind of pressed for time. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think it's going to it's whoever plays better defense, right? Taylor Heineke, I think I was being straight up. I think he has 25 turnovers in 19 starts or something like that. He does throw the ball up there. And with Bradbury and Slay, that's what I'm worried about. I'm afraid you guys are going to get an interception, kind of change the course of the game right there. The one thing that I am kind of confident with is our defense came a long way from when we played you the first time. Basically, William Jackson was primarily a man corner that we got it from the Bengals. We tried to put him in a zone scheme, which we run in Washington, and he just didn't work well. So we're just giving up these big plays. We got rid of him. Our defense has become tighter. I think, our defense has actually been pretty solid altogether. So be kind of curious to see how you guys do. And for all Eagles fans, Cowboys fans, look out for Benjamin St-Juste, number 25 on our team. He's a corner, like a long corner, like 6'3", 220. He came from Minnesota, came from Michigan, all as a freshman. And he's coming along. It's actually pretty cool to kind of see him develop. So I think he's going to be on A.J. Brown. It's an interesting matchup. I'm trying to watch this game.
He'll be an Eagle in a couple of years. We're gonna become the Yankees of the NFL. But hey, man, I do got to run out here. I'm actually going to a USF game. I'm going to a USF game versus SMU. So it should be like probably 100 to like 25 or something like that, because both of them teams have no defense. But it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. But this was a lot of fun, and I appreciate James, because I've been like, the last 2-3 weeks, I've been either sick or busy or just here or there, and you stuck with me. So I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody in the chat, man. We've kept around 100 people still in the chat, man. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join all the families, man, because as you can see, we are all friends, and this is what we like to do. We like to just talk some football and have some.
Your mic just went out, but that's all right. I'll take over right here. That was a perfect segue. Hey, man, I just appreciate you. I always got your back, dog. No matter 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm always here. So we ain't never going to trip off that. You feel me? But, hey, I just want to say before we get off here, appreciate all you guys. Appreciate that we got to loke up today. Really good mental energy for me today. Good mental energy for me to go on with the rest of my shows or whatever I'm doing today, because I got some really good football talk, and I really like that. So I really appreciate both of you guys. Please, everybody in the chat, go support both of these two guys. One thing I want to say before I get off here, you two are very, very knowledgeable in what you do. Very knowledgeable. I like the way you present your presentations on your shows, and I just like the knowledge on your Twitter, things of that nature. So I just want to give both of you guys big shout outs for what you do. Keep it very professional, and I really like that. And I'm glad to be a part of the team when we rock.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bro.
Let them know where they can find you, George.
Go ahead. What did you say?
No, I was gonna say, let them know where they can find you, George.
Yeah, good luck, man. Same thing on that, man. I definitely I've known Jim for years. I'm starting to know James more and more. Me and James work together a lot. I love you guys, man. Good people, very smart. It's nice having good NFC East connects, and I do respect all you guys' opinions. We always talking it out over here. Always respectful, so I do appreciate that. Guys, definitely give me a follow too. On Monday, I'm going to basically host another pregame show going into Monday Night Football. I got two awesome guests. I have a guy from 1340 on Fox Sports. He's awesome. Wale, I love working with him. Adam's going to be on there as well. I'm part of the Full Press Coverage Network. I write for them, but I also do Full Press Commanders podcast on YouTube. Definitely give me a follow. We'll link up together. We'll talk football, man. So thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I appreciate everybody in the chat, man. Y'all make sure y'all hitting that like. Make sure y'all hitting that subscribe for everybody. Join the families, because this is what we do, man. But other than that, I am about to go see a college game, and it's probably gonna be a blowout, and I can't wait. But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. I am Joe, and that is James. And if I could find this, yeah, you've been watching The Best Enemies. Peace.
Peace.